Welcome to the Broadway.com show, your weekly guide to everything happening on the Great White Way and beyond. I'm Imogen Lloyd-Webber.
And I'm Ryan Lee Gilbert. This week we celebrate 30 years of the Phantom of the Opera, chat to the stars at Pretty Woman, the musical's first day of rehearsal, and more.
And later we sit down with Jessica Vosk, who's gearing up for her forthcoming 34 Below show, Being Green. But first, let's get started with the news. What's the buzz, Ryan?
The world premiere of the new musical comedy Tootsie will play a pre-Broadway engagement this fall in Chicago before heading to the Great White Way in spring 2019. Tootsie, which tells the story of a talented but difficult actor who struggles to find work until an audacious, cross-dressing stunt lands him the soap opera role of his dreams, will star Santino Fontana as struggling actor Michael Dorsey, the role played by Dustin Hoffman in the hit 1982 film that earned him an Oscar nomination. Featuring direction by Scott Ellis, an original score by The Band's Visit's David Yazbek, a book by Robert Horn, and choreography by Dennis Jones, Tootsie will play Chicago's Cadillac Palace Theater beginning September 11th through October 14th. Additional casting and creative team members will be announced at a later date.
From Cinderella's prince to a soap opera diva, that's range.
Only on Broadway, kids.
Two very different movies have been adapted into stage musicals. Glenn Ballard is composing original music for The Rose, the 1979 film that put Bette Midler on the map as a strung-out 60s rock star a la Janis Joplin, who is trying to cope with a demanding manager and her rising fame. No word yet on casting or dates, but this heartbreaking story is perfect for the theatre. Meanwhile, The Secret of My Success, based on the 1987 movie about a Midwestern kid who figures out a shortcut to climbing the corporate ladder on Wall Street, is getting a private industry reading with Chris Swan in the lead and Christian Slater, SpongeBob SquarePants Lily Cooper, Leslie Margarita, Priscilla Lopez, Emily Skinner, Javier Munoz, and more. Directed by Gordon Greenberg and featuring a book by Greenberg and Steve Rosen, and a score by Michael Mahler and Alan Schmuckler.
Nominations for the 90th Annual Academy Awards were announced this week, and several stage stars earned nods for their work in film last year. Tony winner Frances McDormand received a nomination for her performance in Martin McDonagh's 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. And among those joining her in the Best Actress category are Broadway alum Saoirse Ronan for Greta Gerwig's Lady Bird and Tony nominee Meryl Streep for The Post. Tony winner Denzel Washington, who will return to Broadway this spring in The Iceman Cometh, was nominated for Best Actor for Roman J. Israel, Esquire, as was Lucille Lortel Award winner Timothée Chalamet for Call Me By Your Name. Tony winner Laurie Metcalf, who's also returning to the main stem this spring in 3 Tall Women, and Tony nominee Allison Janney will face off in the Supporting Actress category for their performances in Lady Bird and I, Tonya, respectively. Tony winner Christopher Plummer was recognized for his performance in All the Money in the World, joining fellow Broadway alums and 3 Billboards stars Woody Harrelson and Sam Rockwell in the Supporting Actor category. Plus, 2 Tony and Oscar-winning songwriting teams earned their second Oscar nominations. Dear Evan Hansen composers Benj Pasek and Justin Paul for The Greatest Showman's This Is Me, and married Frozen duo Robert Lopez and Kristen Anderson Lopez for Coco's Remember Me. The Oscar ceremony, hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, will air March 4th on ABC.
Any Oscar predictions?
Yes, some of these Oscar nominees are going to win Tony Awards.
Manhattan Theatre Club has announced its lineup for next season, and it's a doozy. The company will kick off the fall season in September with the American premiere of The Nap by Richard Bean, who is known for his Olivier-nominated comedy One Man, Two Guvnors. Directed by Daniel Sullivan, The Nap is a funny look at snooker, the British version of pool. Yep, that starts with P, which rhymes with C, which stands for comedy. Next up is Choir Boy, written by Moonlight Oscar winner Tarell Alvin McCraney, who premiered the work at NTC in 2013 and returns to the piece to mark his Broadway debut. Look out for the play, which is about a prestigious prep school for African-American boys and directed by Trip Cullman, to begin in late December and open in January. MTC is also offering the world premiere of Jacqueline Backhouse's India Pale Ale off-Broadway in October. The new work takes a look at the tight-knit Punjabi community in a small Wisconsin town. Plenty of fresh and exciting plays on tap at MTC in the fall.
After its previously announced upcoming engagement at Washington, D.C.'s Kennedy Center, the new musical Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations will be heading to both Los Angeles' Ahmanson Theatre and Toronto's Princess of Wales Theatre later this year. The musical received its world premiere at Berkeley Repertory Theatre last year, where it broke box office records. Featuring direction by Des McAnuff, a book by Dominique Morisseau, choreography by Sergio Trujillo, and an iconic score made up of the Temptations' legendary songs, Ain't Too Proud follows the famed R&B group's extraordinary journey from the streets of Detroit to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Casting for the future engagements, as well as further details on Broadway plans for the show, will be announced at a later date.
Here's a quick London roundup. Philip Murray Warson is taking on the role of Paul Simon in the acclaimed West End run of the Simon & Garfunkel story at London's Lyric Theatre. He appears alongside Charles Blythe, who continues in the role of Art Garfunkel. A new adaptation of the dark 1983 musical Kiss of the Spider-Woman is slated to play London's Mini Chocolate Factory. Featuring a revised script by Jose Rivera and Alan Baker, the show, directed by Laurie Sanson, will begin previews on March the 8th. Four-time Tony nominee Laura Linney will make her London stage debut in My Name is Lucy Barton, a new solo play based on the best-selling novel of the same name by Pulitzer winner Elizabeth Strout. Tony and Olivier winner Richard Eyre will direct Rona Munro's adaptation at the Bridge Theatre beginning on June the 2nd, with an official opening set for June the 6th. Time to book our plane tickets to London ASAP.
When we come back, we celebrate 30 years of The Phantom of the Opera. Check out Carolyn O'Connor's dressing room at Anastasia and more.
Everyone's celebrating John Lithgow's return to Broadway in Stories by Heart. It's uplifting and superb, a joyful night of pure entertainment. You can't miss John Lithgow in Stories by Heart through March 4th only.
This is delightful.
Hey, I'm Casey Levy, and you're watching the Broadway.com show.
Welcome back. The Phantom of the Opera celebrated 30 years on the Great White Way this week with a very special performance of the Andrew Lloyd Webber Smash at the Majestic Theatre. The stars certainly came out for it, including original Christine Daae, Sarah Brightman, who offered up a surprise performance. We hit the red carpet on the big night to chat with the stars about this amazing milestone.
Tonight, I have decided to liven up the proceedings, and since you can't provide a piano for me, I have provided a proper rock group tonight. Live on stage, I brought you tonight the kids from School of Rock.
The performance tonight was mind-blowing.
Tonight was wonderful. I was joking that it felt like it was an opening night, but like without the pressure of reviews. But you know, I was certainly nervous. I actually surprised myself at how nervous I was, but the audience was incredible. And it just ended up being a really special evening.
Oh my God, 30 years, who knew? And I've been a fan of the show forever, and I'm just so glad that I was a part of it. Just part of that, this history of beautiful musical theater. It's written so well.
It really has aged well, you know, in the 30 years that it's been around.
It's kind of like a generational thing, you know, that we've passed the mantle on to new generations, and people still love it.
People come and they bring their children, and the children bring their children. It's an ever-going, everlasting love story.
How old were any of you out there when Phantom opened?
It's amazing. It doesn't seem possible that it's 30 years.
After playing Christine for 10 years, to be back and just celebrate tonight, I'm so full of gratitude for the way this show has changed my life.
The Phantom of the Opera is the longest-running show in Broadway history. Members of the Phantom family shared just what makes this musical such a record-breaking smash.
Phantom is one of those rare occasions where everything came together, where the production, the design suited the music completely and the story, and it all wove together in an extraordinary way. Doesn't happen very often. I mean, you see it happen with Hamilton, you see it with Lion King, you see it with, I think, with Phantom. And it's one of those things, just every ingredient came together and it worked.
At intermission, Sarah's like, "Are you humming along?" And I'm like, I feel the cues come and I want to move because I'm like, that's my cue. But we're all, we were all part of it. And it was just so exciting to be a part of that family, and it will continue for a very long time to come.
I think Phantom has become synonymous with Broadway. I think it's the show that people really want to see because they've heard about it and they've heard about Broadway, and you know, they come in from all over the world and get to see it.
I mean, it is the ultimate romance, and you know, it's the great legend of Beauty and the Beast, and it's always captivated people. And I think the brilliant thing that Andrew has done, he's brought an incredible heart and soul to it with the music. It's, you know, one of his finest scores.
The music is beautiful, lyrics are great, the sets, the costumes, Hal's directions. It's a story about the mask. We all carry masks, you know, it's an ongoing theme, you know.
Everything will be remembered, and I think the legacy of Phantom of the Opera is not one that's anytime soon going to be forgotten.
The beloved 1990 rom-com Pretty Woman told the story of Vivian Ward, a prostitute who wins the heart of the dashing Edward Lewis. Now Pretty Woman is getting the Broadway treatment. Jerry Mitchell is at the helm of the production, which stars Steve Kazee and Samantha Barks in the roles Richard Gere and Julia Roberts made iconic in the film. We caught up with the cast and creative team on their first day of rehearsal to get the scoop on taking this story to the stage.
It is a Cinderella story, and the Cinderella's in the ashes, but the Edward, the Prince Charming, is lost also, emotionally lost, and they find each other, and he rescues her and she rescues him right back. I mean, that is the perfect love story.
When you sort of first watch the film, you think, you know, yeah, he's got it all and she's sort of lost in this world, but actually she's got many things that he doesn't, and vice versa. So it's the fact that they find each other and they make each other better, and they need each other in the end.
Well, if you love the movie, you're going to love this. But there's more surprises to it. It's going to be a ride. It's going to be a ride. It's going to be a non-stop love fest ride, and people are going to dig it.
And beautiful and intelligent and relevant and just
poignant. I mean, there's true moments to it. I mean, it's not just flash and pizzazz. I mean, we got a little bit of that here and there because
it's a musical.
I mean, yeah.
I think what speaks to people is everybody has something in their past that they feel like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have been here, I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't, whatever. But they don't want to be judged by it. And the fact that the movie and the musical ultimately says you don't need to, you can make mistakes, you don't need to be ashamed, that doesn't define who you are.
I think if we just tell the story that is there, people who come and see it are going to see that it actually is a story of female empowerment. It is a story of like empowering yourself in general, like people finding their true selves and living that way kind of like out loud in the moment.
Pretty Woman features a score by chart-topping rocker Bryan Adams and Jim Vallance.
Bryan Adams is so unassuming and kind and normal that you forget he is one of the preeminent rock stars of all of our time.
We know we've written a love song or two over the years, and
there are some sensitive ballads that we've written for the play.
But it kicks ass. This is
and
a kick-ass.
Too.
Yeah, this is a kick-ass
and some rock and roll
Broadway
songs.
Score.
The two of us, you know. We're not on stage the whole time, so during the workshop or the reading, we're just in the wings going.
Air guitar, much air guitar.
Bryan and Jim have written an 11 o'clock number for the character to the likes of which I've never heard before, which is so powerful and I think really speaks to today. And I'm excited. I'm excited to share this musical with the audiences today.
And we approach the songs like writing an album. You know, we tried to make the songs have choruses, have verses, structure. We wanted it to sound like we were making a record, but every song serves the story.
Pretty Woman may be a romantic Cinderella story. Nevertheless, leading lady Samantha Barks spoke to the production's fresh take on the woman at the centre of this show.
She's kind of quirky and fun and all these things, and she just doesn't fit in this sort of world, and she feels uncomfortable in the whole amazing Rodeo Drive moment. But actually, like, even towards the end, when there's sort of transformation, she's still the same girl at heart, and she doesn't lose sight of herself, which I think is amazing, because she doesn't just go, oh yeah, I'll transform. She's still like her true self, which I love. I love that.
I always saw myself as more of a Vivian, but
yeah,
but Samantha came along, really killed the audition, and so they asked me if I'd rather play Edward, and I said sure.
Yeah.
So here we are.
On stage, Anastasia's Carolyn O'Connor simply steals the show with her infectious performance as Countess Lily. We recently headed backstage at the Broadhurst Theatre to take a peek at her dressing room and discover some fun treasures. Take a look.
So on opening night, I received this beautiful little jewellery box from one of our producers, And normally when you get a jewellery box, it either plays like Swan Lake or the Viennese Waltz, but this one actually plays one of the tunes from our show, one of the beautiful songs, which is Once Upon a December. Isn't it just beautiful? Such a gorgeous keepsake. And there's a mirror inside. I don't look too bad. Some of you may or may not know that I was actually brought up in Australia, and so you can imagine how thrilling it is for me to be here on the Great White Way, Broadway. But this is a beautiful little keepsake that a friend of mine, Matt Trent, who is a fabulous photographer and dancer, gave to me to put into my dressing room. This is Bondi Beach and Bondi Pool, and my home in Australia is about 5 minutes away from here. So it's just lovely to look and just remember a beautiful spot from back home. These champagne glasses are here because a friend of mine from Paris came to visit me when I was doing another show on Broadway, and I was drinking champagne out of plastic cups. And he said, no, nobody on Broadway should be drinking out of plastic cups. So he bought me these gorgeous little champagne glasses and delivered them to the dressing room. So this is my bar, and this is a dirty old air conditioner under here that's hidden by this beautiful piece of fabric. And we have lots of Thirsty Thursdays and celebrations here when friends come and see the show. It's good fun. I work really closely in the show with Mary Beth Peel, who is an absolute hoot. She's so much fun. And one of the guys in the show did this picture for us, which is hilarious. Peel and O'Connor, O'Connor and Peel. We're starting our own show. We're going to go on the road. Yeah, I think we look pretty hot in that, don't you? Christy was doing this vlog for a few weeks for Broadway.com, and she said, do you want to take part in it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, but what shall I do? I really don't get to see everybody much in the show because I'm only in Act 2. So I said, okay, I know what I'll do. I'll do a joke. That's what I'll do. During that time, I was rehearsing a show, another Stephen Flaherty and Lynn Aaron show called My Perfect Year, and I had to get a tambourine. So it was in the dressing room, and somehow, I don't know how it happened, but I ended up using the tambourine for Lily's joke of the day. It was just one of those crazy things that happened. So it's been really great fun weekly to do a joke, and it seems like the kids really, really love it because since we did the vlog now, a lot of people are watching it on Instagram, and I do one a week, which is great fun. Such as something like, I really don't like these Russian dolls. They're so full of themselves. Thank you, Broadway.com, for coming to visit me here in my golden palace, my beautiful dressing room here at the Broadhurst. I hope that you'll all come and see Anastasia the musical sometime soon. We're all having such a great time here, and it would be great to have you in the audience.
Scissor Sisters' Jake Shears is currently playing Charlie Price in Broadway's Kinky Boots. In the spirit of the Tony-winning musical's Flair for the Fabulous, we met up with Shears at the Moxie for an awesome photo shoot. Check out what Broadway.com captured behind the lens.
When we return, Wicked tour star Jessica Vosk tells us all about her upcoming Feinstein's 54 Below show and gives us a taste of those powerful pipes.
Everyone's celebrating John Lithgow's return to Broadway in Stories by Heart. It's uplifting and superb, a joyful night of pure entertainment. You can't miss John Lithgow in Stories by Heart through March 4th only.
This is delightful. Welcome back. We are joined in the studio by Jessica Vosk. How are you? She's a rising Broadway star.
Whoa.
I like to
I'll
think.
take it.
I like
take
to think of you that way.
Thanks, Paul.
I mean, I didn't know who you were 4 years ago, and now look at you. Like, I just keep hearing about you.
I didn't know who I was either, and here we are. But you know what? I'm having a lot of fun. So
yeah. Well, that's a good thing.
That's the point.
And like every rising Broadway star, you're doing a show at Fine Science 54 Below. This is one of the things you have to do.
Yeah.
If you're a rising star, I believe.
I guess it is. It's like in the handbook of rising stars.
Yeah.
I'm doing a 3-night run.
Yep.
Which
February
is the first
1st,
time I've
2nd,
done
and 3rd.
it. First, second, and third.
Yes.
It's sold out all 3 nights, but
What?
there's still some spots.
Okay.
There's still some spats, kids.
You can get in line and maybe
Get in
something will
line.
happen.
Come on. I'll bring you on stage. No, I won't. But it's really fun. The show itself is going to be sort of a chat, a very nice loose chat about being back from touring.
Okay, so the show is called Being Green.
That's right.
And you were Elphaba on the road.
I was.
For like a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was following it on social media. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I really felt like I kind of went through it with you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I feel like I had to play the role of Elphaba.
Yeah,
but
how did it feel?
It was a lot.
Yeah, it's
and
a
so
lot.
I wonder when I hear the title Being Green, I immediately think of Kermit the Frog.
Yes.
And he said it's not easy being green. Is that sort of is it easy? Is it not easy? What's your
No, it's not.
What is the story here?
It's not. I have to say, the last year of my life sort of shaped who I am as a person doing this role
Mhm.
on tour. You couldn't get a better tour, first of all. It is so brilliantly done.
I believe it's the Munchkinland
It
tour.
is the Munchkinland tour. Hey,
they
guys.
name each of the tours.
They do. And everybody's impeccable on this tour. I mean, it is so well run from management to stagehands to everywhere we go.
Yes.
But you take on the role of Elphaba. It's my first time joining the company of Wicked. I sort of went out there, sat in the audience, watched the show, and maybe shook a little bit, going, "What did I just? Wait, what?" And you learn how to get in shape real quick, vocally and physically. You're running around, it's heavy costumes, and you are painted green.
Right.
You know,
That's part
6
of
days
it.
of the week.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, but it's really, really cool. I have to say, it's probably the most difficult role I will have ever played. And that I'm very grateful for playing it. She's badass.
You're wearing green, and a lot of former Elphabas don't wear green. So,
Why?
So you are, I don't know, sometimes they just avoid the green, but it looks great on you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know, when you play Elphaba and other girls from, we call it the Green Girl Sisterhood, other girls will tell you that all of a sudden everything in your wardrobe will start to turn green. I went shopping, not just because of the makeup, just because you go into a store and you're like, I think that sweatshirt's great.
Right.
Meanwhile, everything's green.
Right.
So, so we are very attracted to the green color. I wear it proudly.
Yes.
It took a long time to get it out of my hairline. But
it's gone.
At 50,
it is gone.
It is gone.
It is gone.
It
I'm
took
very
some
close,
weeks.
and I can see that it's
close,
actually gone.
And I shower sometimes, so it was it was a tough thing to get all the green out. But also, you know, once all the green is gone, you go, wait, I was just on tour for a year. Wait, really?
Right.
It doesn't feel like it happened. It's very strange.
One thing I really like about you is that you had like a Wall Street job, and this is sort of like one of your things, that you were an office girl. You were an office girl, and now look at you.
I had
and
a cubicle.
And you made a decision where you just said, I'm out. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be an actress.
Sometimes you are sitting in a place where you know you don't belong, and I was really good at the job. I made some lifelong friends from the job, but I sat there in my office going, I haven't seen a Broadway show in years, because I think I'm so sad that I'm doing this finance thing that I don't want to see anybody living their life and doing a triple pirouette. And then I finally said, I will never be happy unless I go after what it is that I want in life for my passion.
Right.
And my parents at the time were like, no. But now they're pretty happy about it, I think. So, and they're coming to my 54 Below show.
Of course.
Shout out. And it's cool. It's cool to be here. Sometimes I can't believe I actually lived that life, and that I'm here doing this now, and have done a few Broadway shows. And
so you're going to give us a little taste of the show right now.
Yes.
And we're singing like a classic. We're not singing. You're singing a classic. I'm sorry. I was trying to include myself.
I love when you.
You are singing a classic.
I am. Yeah. The show is such a plethora. Of genres and different kinds of songs, and it's not just Broadway, and it's not just pop, it's everything. And there's twists and turns and surprise guests.
So with that being said, one of the songs in the show to sort of wrap everything up with a nice bow is The Way We Were. And
beautiful.
It's such a gorgeous song.
Yeah.
And
by Marvin Hamlish and the Bergmans.
And the Bergmans.
Yes.
And the Babs is just one of my idols.
Yeah.
And she's such a, chameleon, and to be able to sing one of her songs, and it's simple yet really difficult at the same time, is a treat. So I hope everybody enjoys it.
So let's stop talking about it.
Okay,
and
fine.
let's hear it. Let's break some hearts.
Okay. Love you.
Memories light the corners of my mind, misty watercolored memories of the way we were, scattered pictures of the smiles we've left behind, smiles we gave to one another for the way we were. Can it be that it was all so simple then, or has time rewritten every line? If we had the chance to do it all again, tell me, would we? Could we? Memories may be beautiful, and yet what's too painful to remember? We simply choose to forget. So it's the laughter we will remember. Whenever we remember the way we were, the way we were, the way we
When we come back, we watch a special musical performance from the Phantom of the Opera's 30th anniversary celebration.
Everyone's celebrating John Lithgow's return to Broadway in Stories by Heart. It's uplifting and superb, a joyful night of pure entertainment. You can't miss John Lithgow in Stories by Heart through March 4th only.
This is delightful.
Hi, I'm Steve Pasquale, and you are watching the Broadway.com show.
Thank you for watching the Broadway.com show.
We leave you with a soaring performance from the Phantom of the Opera's 30th anniversary celebration.
See you next week.